I get asked pretty much the exact same question every day on this YouTube channel. Why am I spending so much money modifying my M240i? When I could have just spent a little bit more money and bought the better 2 Series, which would have been a BMW M2. Today I'm going to tell you guys the brutal truth about the BMW M car market. I'm going to explain why the BMW M2 competition is a complete waste of money, and why this B58 driven M240i is the smartest move for a track car you can build right now. Oh, and to prove my point, I also have an OG M2 sitting right behind that hedge over there to actually prove my point about something. We're going to put both this M240i and the OG M2 somewhat side by side. But first, we need to talk about the M2 competition and why the M2 competition sounds like an absolute joke. Because if you thought this B58 sounded bad, you obviously haven't heard the S55 engine. Now, before everybody thinks that I have actually lost my mind, I need to explain one thing real quick. I love the M2 competition. It's the engine that lets it down. I think the M2 competition is one of the best looking 2 Series BMW have ever built. That and the OG M2 are top tier for me. And before you think I've lost my mind even more, I don't hate the S55 engine. In fact, it's one of BMW's best M engines ever made. It's just the sound that really lets that car down. And to me, if I'm completely honest with you guys, spending 35 grand on a car like that, to then have to spend 2 grand on an equal length exhaust or something serious to make it sound good, when it literally sounds like a lawnmower in a tin can, just doesn't really sit right with me. And let's be realistic for a second. This B58 that I'm sitting in right now isn't a good sounding engine. In fact, it sounds like some sort of diesel times tractor. It's not the best sounding inline 6 I've ever heard. Now, the M240i is my 3rd BMW. However, it doesn't have the best sounding engine, and the B58, it's great for power. However, coming from the previous car, which was an N55, which I'm sure we can all agree on, does sound better than the B58. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the most raw exhaust system on this car currently. It does consist of a downpipe and a double res delete. We've still got the OEM back box. So let me put this in sport for you guys. I'll put my foot down a little bit and you can hear this car. It's a little bit underwhelming. And again, the speed is there. It picks up really quickly. The torque is unreal, but the sound, it's lacking the sound. And that is one thing I'll show you guys in just a second, is the sound from this other car. It is unmatched. Now that we've actually heard this M240i's exhaust with the B58 engine, you'll have to stay tuned for just a few more minutes because we're actually going to be driving an OG M2 with the N55, and that car has a very, very exotic exhaust. But just having a look underneath the bonnet of this car, you guys will notice something pretty spectacular, and it is this turbocharged inline 6. This is BMW's B58. Now, why did I choose this engine to go with the car? Now, I didn't actually specifically choose it, BMW did, but I chose the M240i in particular. And that is for one reason. 1, reliability, and 2, how capable this engine is in this car. 340 horsepower, standard. Combine that with a stage 1 remap with MHD, for example, you're looking at upwards of 400 horsepower. Then if you go to a stage 2 tune, which is simply a downpipe and an air filter, you're looking at upwards of 440 horsepower. But as a lot of experienced car guys will know, power isn't everything when it comes to pushing a car on track. And there's one massive flaw that this M240i comes with that the M2 fixes. And I'll show you guys right now. But for me to actually show you guys, we've got to hop in this M240i, take it for a drive back somewhere, and pick up this OG M2. So driving back, put my foot down in sport mode again in this M240i. Like I mentioned earlier, the speed is there, the power is there, and combined with my Cooler Works shifter, it makes this manual M240i a pleasure to drive, and it's very engaging. But it's missing one massive characteristic, and that is the sound that this OG M2 has. We're so close to actually being able to drive this OG M2, which I have my hands on today to show you guys, but we have to answer one final question about the M240i. And that question is, why have I spent so much money modifying this car when I could have just bought an OG M2? Well, the number one reason. This reason, I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to agree with me. 1, the engine, with it being so capable. And 2, the tuning capabilities that this engine actually has. But the third reason is modifications for what people call an M Lite, or the step down from an M car, are a lot easier to get into compared to an actual M car. For example, we've actually made videos on the channel where we've upgraded the brakes on this car. We've gone for an incredible brake setup. But if I was to go for the same setup, say, on an M car, I'd be looking at hundreds, if not thousands of pounds more. And the last reason is parts to replace on this car are a lot cheaper than an M2, and that's just the way it is. Now, obviously an M car is a massive step up, and we will have one in the future, hopefully soon. But for now, I've got to enjoy my M240i, and that's the main reason I've enjoyed modifying it. I've bought it, I've modified it, I've enjoyed modifying it. I think it looks pretty good too. Now, of course, it is missing all of the wonderful lines and the aggressive fitment that all the M cars have. For example, we don't have some massively flared wings or some huge arches, but at the moment, the car sits pretty well, and I'm quite happy with the way it's looking. So that's that answered. Let's get in this almighty OG M2, and thank goodness it's not a comp, because they sound terrible. Now, I count myself very lucky to have the opportunity to use the car that is in my hands today. This is one serious piece of equipment. And here we have it, the OG M2. Now, this is just an incredible step up from the M240i. Like I was mentioning about the M240i's arches, take a look at the front of this and the rear tyres. Look at the meat on these. We've actually got 275s on the rear. These things are no joke. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna let you guys enjoy this car for a couple seconds. So here it is, right behind me. Why have I spent so much modifying my M240i when I could have just bought this car and I've had everything out of the box ready to go? I already explained a couple minutes ago about why I love the M240i. Now, my first ever kind of BM was the M235i. Now, I wanted to step up into the B58 platform before going in to an official M car because I love the N55, it's great, but I did want to try out the B58 engine. And of course, we know the B58 engine is good and powerful. We know the OG M2 sounds really good, but the S55 doesn't really hit it for me. This N55 though, sounds more than just good. Even just sitting in here, we've got this lovely DCT transmission, and this thing is a game changer. And then whenever you go to start up the car, you get this lovely welcoming icon that actually says you own an M car. I showed you guys the tyres on this car a couple seconds ago, and that's crazy because you think of those wide arches, you can fit so much rubber underneath this car compared to the M240i, where if you fit a wide tyre, you're gonna sacrifice rubbing. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna start the car up, we're gonna let it idle for a little bit, get the oil temperature warm, and then I'll show you guys what this car sounds like, because you've probably been wanting to hear what this thing sounds like. I've said it's an exotic sounding car, and I'm a man of my word, it really is. If you have the money to buy an M car, I would say 100% do it. But if you want to tune the car, or you want to actually make it into a full track build, the M240i is a cheat code. Like I mentioned earlier, parts on these cars, they are not cheap. And if I wanted to make this into a track spec, it would be an incredibly expensive project. You guys have been some very patient viewers. You've wanted to hear what this thing sounds like, so I'm gonna place the microphone at the rear of the car. We're gonna do some revs with the M Performance back box closed, and then we're gonna open the M Performance back box and you'll hear the difference. It's gonna be crazy. So in conclusion, this M car is great, but it doesn't replace my M240i because I've built up so much with that car and I've enjoyed every modification and every piece of tuning I've done on it, period. This car though, it's no slouch. And the DCT box, it's a game changer. But first, before I hop into an M car, I want to really push my M240i to the limit. I want to take it on track and actually enjoy it. And in 48 hours, I'm taking that car on track. So if you guys want to see how well I do on it, how well the car holds up, it is going to be going on track tuned, then hit the subscribe button down below. It's completely free and you guys won't miss any upcoming videos. But for now, I'm going to carry on enjoying this M2 while I've got my hands on it. I'm going to enjoy the automatic gearbox because it's incredible. That is why I've spent so much money modifying my M240i and not just buying a real M car like this OG M2. If you enjoyed today's video, you can give it a like down below. And if you have any comments, leave them in the comment section and I'll personally answer them. I'll catch you guys next time with my M240i, possibly on track. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye for now.